So which residency to get? Should it be Argentina residency that leads to citizenship, or should you consider the new option Uruguay? I've made a separate dedicated video regarding Uruguay with my head of legal. We have a team in Uruguay. Interestingly, there's a new option where with active salary, if you earn 1200 USD from your job, could be any kind of job, even if you have a business and you pay yourself 1200 US dollars, then you qualify for a direct permanent residency in Uruguay. Interestingly, this is a paper residency, meaning it's flexible, nothing illegal, nothing wrong. When I say paper, it just simply means it's flexible, no physical presence mandated. Once every 3 years, you got to enter Uruguay in order to maintain your status. Now, I'm going to compare and contrast this with Argentina because for a very long time, a lot of expats have been looking at Argentina. A lot of content creators and marketers have been promoting Argentina as the spectacular option, which in some cases it is. There's a problem now with Argentina, and there was a problem with Uruguay, which is now fixed, which might make Uruguay a far better option. But then I wanted to compare and contrast, talk about the pros and cons of each option. And starting 2025 into 2026, if you're looking to add a good quality jurisdiction or a good quality plan B or a residency to your portfolio, after watching this video, you're going to have a good insight into both options. We have a team, legal team and a tax team in Argentina that specifically focuses on residency and citizenship options. Now, before we deep dive into this comparison, I would like to ask you for a quick favor. It truly helps this channel. It helps me get you more valuable content. Please check your subscription status. And if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, take a moment and turn on that subscription. And now let's deep dive. Let me first start off with the pros of Argentina. Now, when you compare Argentina with Uruguay, in Argentina, you can obviously get a residency fairly quickly. If you have $2,000 of income, active income, it can be structured legally to obviously qualify for the Argentinian residency. Now, the good thing about Argentina is that it does not matter whether you're holding a temporary versus a permanent residency. They both are okay as far as being eligible for citizenship after 2 years. So once you apply for citizenship, it might take a year and a half because currently it's still a court procedure. They're going to change that to an immigration procedure. We got to wait and watch how that really affects the citizenship process. Does it make it faster? Does it stay the same, or does it cause a slight delay? With time, we would know. But currently, it's a court procedure, can take up to a year. In some cases, it can take a year and a half. So you're talking about a 3 years path to Argentinian citizenship. When you compare this with Uruguay, in Uruguay, you could naturalize as early as 3 years if you qualify.
You can apply for citizenship, and the process takes around 6 months to 1 year to get the passport. But you need to
Really?
live. Yes, but
Wow. So that's how fast it is? 6 months to 12
yes,
months?
yes, but
It would take approximately 6 months or slightly more to acquire the nationality. So when you're comparing the two processes, Argentina, year and a half, Uruguay, 6 months plus. So effectively, you're talking about 3.5 years in either case. You're looking at similar amounts of time in both countries. The biggest con now with Argentina is that they're heavily stressing on the physical presence requirement. Even to maintain the residency, they do expect you to live in the country for 6 months. So yes, for citizenship, you want to live there. But even to maintain the residency, they're now saying you got to live there for more than 6 months. It's not explicitly stated how long you got to physically be. So far, the guidance was 6 months plus. So you become a tax resident, and that's how you maintain your residency and also become eligible for that citizenship. But now they're saying you got to stay even more. You want to have more ties in the country. They still need to define that. We're going to wait and watch. In Uruguay, on the other hand, you don't have to physically stay in Uruguay in order to save your residency, unlike Argentina. But when it comes to applying for citizenship or nationality, you want to spend half the time in Uruguay, meaning 6 months in the first year, 6 months in the second year, and 6 months in the third year before you apply for your citizenship. So when you compare these two factors, I think Uruguay wins. The second big difference is Argentina is temporary residency. So although it would not affect the eligibility for citizenship, you could jump from temporary, directly apply for citizenship, but you have slightly lesser rights as compared to being on permanent residency in a country. Uruguay, you're directly starting off with a permanent residency. So that's going to make things easier. So if you were to find an employment in Uruguay, let's say you want to start a business, start working for that business, you could do all of those things with a lot more ease when you're looking at Uruguay. Now with Argentina, Avi Emile proposed a CBI program, a direct citizenship program. They hit the headlines, they created a lot of buzz. But since then, that whole topic or that conversation has really died down. I think what they're really chasing is the visa free access to the US. I personally don't feel whatever they do, they're not going to get the visa free access to the US. I highly doubt that. But in bargain for that access, in bargain for some funds, in bargain for some help from the US, I think the US might not allow them to sell the passport or come up with a CBI. Otherwise, they'll obviously take those benefits. And Milai is a big fan of Trump. So I really don't know when the Argentinian or if the Argentinian CBI program is ever going to start. Now, in terms of the lifestyle, right, the richness or the luxury, the culture, of the country, if you compare Argentina and Uruguay, I think Argentina has a lot more poverty. Argentina has a lot more inflation. Argentina has a lot more political instability or political problems. Milei is a big Trump fan, so that really influences the political direction in that country. Uruguay, on the other hand, is politically muted. You don't hear anything about politics from Uruguay. So, of course, it has the slight edge there. I do like Uruguay for that reason. In terms of the crowd, the number of people, so Argentina is extremely populated. A lot of people live in Argentina. So, you're going to have that overpopulation or overcrowdedness in the main cities, whereas in Uruguay, there's less crowd, less population, so there's going to be more room for you to be peaceful. The nightlife and the buzz and all those things. If you're really a teenager, which most people watching this channel aren't teenagers, right? They're investors, they're seasoned investors. So if you're looking for a plan B jurisdiction, then I'm pretty sure Uruguay is going to be a better fit, better suited for you. If you're looking for a dating scene, then Argentina can be overwhelming. Yes, you'll have more options, but you're looking for quality options. And I feel the quality options would exist in Uruguay. You get a chance to really settle down, relax, and then go about your life. Argentina, on the other hand, could be quite chaotic. Property purchases in Argentina could be quite crazy, quite chaotic. Property purchases in Uruguay could be pretty neat and stable. So you're going to have more rights, more security when you are purchasing a property. The richer jurisdiction is Uruguay as compared to Argentina. Now, the biggest pro of Uruguay, the big change that I was talking about is before the Uruguayan passport used to list your nationality as your original nationality. So let's say a Chinese person gives up their Chinese citizenship and they acquire an Uruguayan passport, their nationality would still say Chinese, their citizenship would be Uruguayan. It created a confusion. A lot of foreign countries, especially the European Union countries, they would view this as more of a travel passport, like the ones used by asylees, or let's say in Panama, they sell the travel passport. So that created some confusion. Although you were a real citizen of Uruguay, they fixed that. They rectified the situation, and now when you get the nationality, you're going to get a full-fledged citizenship-based passport, which is going to clear any doubts. So that is the fix that Uruguay has done. The big con with Argentina is that you cannot renounce the Argentinian citizenship. So that really bothers a big segment of the people. Whereas in Uruguay, of course, you can renounce that citizenship. There's no restriction on not being able to renounce the Uruguayan citizenship. So comparing all the different factors, I would say before 2025, let's say in 2024, Argentina was really on top. Uruguay came second. But since 2025, since the $1,200 per month option, right, through active salary, a lot of people, most people watching this channel, most of you guys qualify directly for the Uruguayan direct permanent residency. And then the physical presence is where the magic lies. So let's say you aren't able to make it right now. You can't do the 6 months. You can't even make it, for the full year. That's okay. You enter once every 3 years. You can still retain that residency. Whenever you want to switch to an Uruguayan citizenship or apply for Uruguayan citizenship, just spend the right amount of physical presence in the country. Couples, who are married, who have children, they can, of course, naturalize in just 3 years, and then other people can naturalize after 5 years. And I've made a dedicated video with my head of legal. If you've missed that video, definitely go ahead and watch this one. This talks about all the detailed requirements for this program. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to the channel for timely updates and news, and catch you in the next one.